Now, when did you go pro?
1980-ish, around the 80s. I worked a lot of different jobs that I was really unhappy with. I was in construction. I worked as a cook. I did so many different things. I worked at Wall Street, at Payne Weber, Dean Witter. I did everything, and I really wasn't happy with any of it. I wasn't saying miserable. I just was yearning to be a performer. I was a magician, actually, more so at the time. And I remember thinking if I could just eke out a little living as a magician, even a small living, I'd be the happiest guy in the world. It wasn't about the money. It was about surviving in a way that was organically true to who I was wanting to become. But I didn't believe in myself a lot. I didn't think I had what it took. I don't know. I had dueling parents. My mother was very supportive of the arts and what I was doing. My mother was a music teacher. It was divorced when I was a kid, but my mother was a music teacher. My father was an auto mechanic. So it was she was like a big blonde, he's like a little Italian guy. It was a very disparity between them. It was really weird. And he was like, get a regular job, do this, do that. What are you talking about? Magician? You can't make a living as a magician. He was old school Italian. And my mother, on the other hand, was very liberal and a music teacher and all this other stuff. So the point I'm making is that I didn't think I could do it. And then 1980, I just threw it all out the window and said, I'm just doing this. I don't care if I sink or swim. I'm just going to do it. And I just jumped into it. And my wife, which was my girlfriend at the time, thought it was crazy too, but she thought, if you're going to do it, I'm going to join you. And we just both joined forces to go in this direction and become entertainers. And I became a children's entertainer. And it, ironically, became a great children's entertainer for many years. It was great. I made really good dough. Every year we made more and more money for 10 years. Got to a point where we made a lot of money. And people were like, my father went from being the guy who said, you can't do this, this is my son. Mm-hmm. It was really strange to go that's full circle. I didn't do it for that reason, but I did it because I wanted to do it. And it was a great thing to do, and I would encourage anybody to do it. It's great. It was great. It was a good leap. A leap of faith.
You sometimes have to take those. Yeah. And congratulations on getting your dad to respond to that. Because
that really wasn't the motivation.
But I mean, the reason I say that is I talk to so many professional performers who their parents, Denny Haney. I did a whole interview with him, and one of his things was, my dad one time saw this magician on TV that really wasn't that good, and he was like, so you ought to be like him.
Interesting. Yeah.
So he never got the respect he got, But let's go on to some of the things. How did you learn ventriloquism?
This goes back to Jay Johnson and Bob on soap. It's a really unorthodox way of learning. I just got an apartment, I think, and I had a bait. I got that puppet. I didn't really do it a lot. I just kind of played with it, but I really wasn't. I would kind of got to get a book and read it and do things. And so I ended up having a Betamax machine, which was an old VHS type of machine, and it was on, and I taped a couple of these episodes, and there was little clips of Jay and Bob on there, and I would study the clips over and over and over again. I would watch what he did, the voice he made. I'd watch the sound of the clip and how the transition went between, what do you mean? Okay, all right, yeah, okay, and that back and forth speed, which I really was impressed by. So I just sat there and tried to duplicate what was happening on the screen. And that was the beginning of learning how to be a ventriloquist, through repetitive viewing of